Hey guys, welcome to the Life on Purpose podcast. It's Ella and Ella from Grow with the Flow. Here we explore all things personal growth and self-discovery.
We hope to inspire you, empower you to explore your growth, and to remind you that you're never alone. So let's get right into it. Let's grow. Hey everyone! Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. This is the Life on Purpose podcast with...
So if you've been hanging around with us for a little while, you know that we've kind of started this new little tradition on the podcast where we pull a card that is, I guess, new to us. We haven't read it or looked at it yet, and we always set the intention that this is a message that is either meant for us or for you or for someone listening. However it ends up sitting with you. Again, a big motto for us is take what resonates and leave the rest behind. So without further ado, I'll read you the card of the day.
I'm excited.
The title is Wisdom. Activate your inner wisdom and allow the equal amount of positives and negatives about any experience or situation to enter your awareness. When this occurs, they cancel each other out. Healing happens, and all resistance about the situation or experience melts away. You are left feeling soft and easy. The veil of illusion parts, and you have an aha moment. That may go something like this. Now I understand why that was here in my life. That makes so much sense. My life is always showing me how to come back into balance so I can see and feel my higher wisdom. Today, look where your dreams are in your life instead of where they are not. You are wise.
I have goosebumps.
I know we always say that, but it's so relevant.
That is weird. I've never heard of it. It's like kind of, that message, but framed with wisdom. Like, I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting.
It's like, I'm going to butcher this quote, but I think it was Steve Jobs that said, it's easier to connect the dots when you're already at the end, right? Like, you can look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. But when you're in it, it's like, why is this happening? And that's...
Yeah, hindsight is 20/20.
Yep. That is life lately for us. Like,
I know, I guess that's a good segue into
our catch up.
What's going on? Yeah, we've just been kind of like going through it a bit. And it's so funny. It's because, like, I don't know if it's because we spend so much time together, but it feels like we kind of go through it, the ups and downs together. Well, it's a partnership, so that makes sense. Because things affect both of us that affect one of us. Yeah. But it definitely feels like it's been a very growth month.
Huge.
For us, because it's just been like... It's just been that kind of like one thing after another, and then we've had to kind of coach ourselves through like, okay, this is our chance to just say, I'm surrendering. Like, using all the tools. Like, every tool there is. And then, like, understanding that everything that's happening, every block, that's because there's a better way or a reason for it, or try to look at the silver lining, and then it just keeps coming up, and you're like, okay, buds, like, what is happening here?
And it's hard. Like Ella said, we have been pulling all the tools out, but then there's days that we've both gone through recently where we're just like, I cannot. I'm exhausted. I feel defeated, or I feel deflated. And instead of just trying to reach back in the toolbox, just had those days of feeling it. And I think that was like super important for both of us. And just being honest with each other and saying, like, you know what, today I can't. I cannot try. I just need to surrender and exist. I need to not try to like fix something or work on this or reframe. We do that like 95% of the time, but I think a big part of growth is acknowledging where you're at, and if what you need in that moment is rest or to do nothing, just do it.
Or just to like wallow. Like last Thursday, I just was like, I just want to sit here and feel sad about this.
Yep.
And like most of the time, of course, don't
let it consume.
Yeah, I don't let it go on. And I even told Ella, like, I'll be better tomorrow. I just need today to just... And sometimes just letting yourself feel that is what makes you feel better. Because by the end of the day, I'd eaten my like comfort food. I was just in my blanket all day, just watching my little shows. And then I just slept really well. And you kind of have that inner dialogue where you're like, I know it sucks. Like, you're not, like you said, you're not sitting there being like, how can I fix this? Everything's okay. And not forcing yourself to constantly try to be in that positive vibration. Because it's like, that's resistance. Of course, being happy and positive and motivated and creating solutions, that's amazing. But sometimes it's resistance if you're not just letting it be.
And allowing yourself to feel the emotions.
Yes.
Big time. So that's been a very eye-opening month.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of growth.
There's been a lot of versions of me.
Yes. A lot of things have come to the surface, but I guess it's funny because, again, we've wallowed, we've planned, I feel like we've touched every corner of the square this month. But I do believe, going back to like the positive side of it, I do believe that when there's a lot of resistance or a lot of change or, uncomfortable things coming up, it's preparing you for something, or it's leading to this next version, or this next level. And I'm just telling myself that right now because it's so funny. We always talk about a big part of self-discovery. There's uncomfortable, like getting out of your comfort zone. And the moment you're actually in it, you're like, wait, I don't actually want to do this, but it's a part of the journey, and we're currently in that stage right now. So if any of you are feeling extremely uncomfortable because things are changing around you and at a pace it's new to you or whatever it may be, we are literally right there with you.
Yeah. I love that reel that you made last week or this week. I don't even know what day it is. But that was like, what is happening? And the caption was like, when you've asked to be to step into your higher self, but then things start changing and you're like, wait a sec. Because it's so true. It's like, I asked for this, but what did I expect my eyes to open? And I'm just like, this in this new life. Yeah. Like, shit's gonna have to like move around and shift. But it's a good reminder because when you're in it, you don't remember that part. You're just like, why is this all happening? But then Ella reminded me that like this is the uncomfortable place that we talk about. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Forgot how uncomfortable it was to be here.
Yeah. With that being said, we have a really, really, really exciting announcement. We have added an element to Grow with the Flow, an element of community that we've always wanted to be here at Grow with the Flow, and we've finally stepped into creating it for you guys.
Yeah, and we felt like this was a really good time to introduce this. Obviously, something that we've always talked about and have always dreamt of for Grow with the Flow is having a community element, but we just really, it's so funny because we couldn't figure out how that was going to look. But we feel like we have it figured out, and we're really excited to invite you guys to be a part of this space. So it's an online community where it's free. I should mention that very, very first. So it's accessible and it's open to every human being that's looking for more inspiration, accountability, to meet some like-minded souls. Really a space to meet other people that are on this personal growth and self-discovery journey. The platform is all online. You can actually download the app. So the link will be made available in our Instagram bio or on our website, and we'll have it below in the show notes. So if this sounds interesting to you, or if this sounds like something you'd love to be a part of, please come join us over there. I won't give too much away. I'd love for you to just come over and see it for yourself. But we're really looking forward to like fostering this space and just getting a chance to meet you guys a little bit more personally and explore this self-discovery space with you.
Yeah, I'm literally grinning over here from ear to ear. It's just so exciting because we asked you guys, we heard what you said, and now we're finally doing it, and it feels so right and it feels so good. And yeah, it's the first step into, like Ella said, just meeting you guys and getting to hang out with you and doing all the stuff. So we can't wait to see you guys over there. It's called the Grow with the Flow Club. And yeah, but that brings us to our episode. Today we're going to talk about debunking personal growth myths. We hear about personal growth all the time. There's a million coaches, mentors, guides, healers out there, and I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but I follow a lot of stuff like that online, and messages can get mixed. There's lots of misinformation. Maybe some things work for some people, some things don't work for other people. And then it can just leave you in a place where you're just kind of confused and you're like, I'm just going to do nothing.
Is this for me? Is this not for me?
Yeah.
All those questions.
So we just wanted to take a few myths and debunk them, essentially. So the first one is personal growth is not linear, which I'm laughing because that's exactly the big lesson here for us this month that we were talking about. So personal growth isn't always going to be the step up and always just like you wake up and it's rainbows and butterflies and this is amazing, which of course that is what we're working towards. But there's always going to be setbacks, plateaus, moments of self-doubt. When we're digging deep and like peeling back the layers, we're starting to bring things to the surface that have been kind of living there for a long time. Old conditioning, limiting beliefs. Like we were talking about earlier in our own story, asking for things and setting goals, and then when things start changing, that feeling of discomfort, a feeling of limbo. Maybe we've talked about in other podcasts where things aren't resonating with you anymore, so you're starting to feel isolated in your situation. So it's not always going to be a linear path forward. It's going to kind of look like one of those graphs that go up and then maybe they go straight and then maybe it goes down a little. It will always be trending up, I would say, though. So that is the silver lining there. But if you're in a place where you're like, I've done all this work, I do my affirmations, I do my journaling, I spend time in nature, and you have all your tools and you're feeling blocked, or there's something there where you're just like, it's not working, or none of this was working for me, just know that it is. And it's not always going to look like that picture perfect thing, and or like the highlight reel on Instagram and
it's
things
so
like
true
that.
And that's it. I think the big reminder there is not to get discouraged. I say don't get discouraged, but I get discouraged a lot. But to remember that just because you take a few steps back, it doesn't mean that all the progress has been erased. You know, I think that's like,
yeah, that's so true.
Something that's so important to remember. It's like if fitness was your focus and you took 3 weeks off, it's not all, all that hard work that you put in beforehand is not just gone to the side. It's still there. It's not even a step back. It's a pause maybe, or maybe it's a moment of rest. And actually rest could be steps forward. It just doesn't feel that way. So definitely it's not linear.
No.
Sorry to burst that bubble. And the second myth is that personal growth is only for those broken or flawed. So I guess what we're trying to debunk here, what we're trying to share and make very clear is that personal growth is for everyone. And I guess you could say to some level we are all flawed, or we all have triggers, we all have traumas, we all have experiences that have shaped us or created experiences in our lives that, we're trying to reframe, let's say. Personal growth is for everyone. You don't have to have one specific outcome, and it's only designed for people that want to be the best at XYZ. It truly can be applied to any area of your life. Your personal development, your focus and your intention could be to focus on personal development to improve your relationships. It could be to excel more in your career. It could be to improve your spiritual journey. It truly is for everyone and anyone. And I think the tools can be adapted, just like I think we talk about this quite often, is it's your journey. So things within it are going to or should fit your vision. It's for everyone. It is not for just one type of person. It's for everybody.
Yeah, we all have room to grow. Like, even Oprah. Like, I don't know why she came to my mind, but I'm sure there's things that she still wants to improve. The next one is personal growth is a solitary journey. So I love this one because I think a lot of us feel that way, or even it's scary to even step into it because you're like, you feel like you have a lot to lose or that you will lose things along the way, but it doesn't have to be that way. So, of course, personal growth requires self-reflection and spending time alone and figuring out what those things are that we represent and that we love. But it doesn't have to be taken alone. If there is a time where you do feel that you need to speak with somebody, or you need some extra support, or there's a way that you can be held accountable to the goals that you want to set, gain new perspectives, and just have encouragement in general along the way, that's all perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be this journey where you go into the Himalayan mountain and sit there for 3 months and then come back and you're a new person. Mm-hmm. But it can just be integrated into your regular life. Of course, there will be changes, but those are all things that you'll be ready for when the time comes. Nothing will be ripped away, or, like, it doesn't have to be such a dark... I think a lot of things in my journey that I struggled with was that I had to be somebody that I wasn't, or had to, like, grow into this person and I wasn't ready. But really, now that I look back, I'm like, I became the person that I was supposed to be eventually. It didn't have to be so hard. Really, if I just learned things more earlier about myself that I loved, I could have made more room for those things, or taken things away that weren't serving me. So I hope that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it depends. Again, this will depend on the type of person that you are, but I find sharing very therapeutic for me. I really enjoy sharing. I mean, share what you're comfortable with, but having either a community or someone or a professional to just talk with, just to have somebody to open up to, or kind of, you never know, actually. I find that since I opened up with people about my personal growth or my own struggles or my self-discovery, I've created like tighter bonds with people, or I've been able to connect over things that I never thought I could connect to them with, if that makes sense. So you never know, you might end up finding some relationships come into your life during this time that are going to be with you forever, or might even show up at this time because they're meant to be that support for you. So don't be afraid to invite, obviously, the right people in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually saying to Ella the other day, because I recently started listening to podcasts again. I went through a phase where I know this about myself. I love watching people, like, inspirational speeches and, like, even comedy shows, just people excelling at what they're good at. And I stopped doing that for a while. I was going on my walks and just being like, I need some time alone in my thoughts. And then recently getting back into listening to those podcasts that inspired me, or like gave me a little nugget of inspiration to apply to what I was going through in that moment, I was like, I need to not ever doubt myself with that again, because that works for me. Like, having that insight from an external source or an inspiration from somebody else, that really works for me and keeps me motivated and positive. So yeah, don't think that you ever have to do anything alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think when we think of self-awareness or reflection, it sounds very personal, which it is, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it within a community or with somebody that you trust. Or, yeah, I think that's definitely a big... a
goodie.
A goodie, yeah. It's definitely a myth that we debunk here, because we believe community is the way to go, and it's so beautiful to watch people interact and connect over not only the good and the wins, but the struggles. I think that's where we really connect. It's your humanness comes out, right? It's okay to share that.
And that's how Grow the Flow was born, between the support of Ella and I, of each other. So yeah, you understand we're super passionate about it. So yeah, that was all of the myths that we wanted to debunk today. Let us know what you guys think. Are there any personal growth myths that you'd like us to debunk that you're kind of unsure about, or that you've heard and you're like, that doesn't seem right? We'd love to hear about it. If you found this episode valuable in any way, I just wanted to ask you to either leave a review on Apple Podcasts for us, or share it with a friend that you think it would help, or that would resonate with them. It just really helps our reach and helps get our message out to more ears. And yeah, we just want to keep doing this for you guys. So
Yeah, and if everything in this podcast episode sounded like your cup of tea, don't forget to check out the link below and join the community. There is lots of exciting little things inside, lots of room for discussion, and we'll be in there too. So we'd love to see you in there. Don't forget to check that out, and we'll catch you next week.
Yay! I'm so excited. Bye, everyone.